Hello paper crafters, this is Jane Fires, and as you know I have been with Fun Stamper's Journey as an independent coach. Now Fun Stamper's Journey has merged with Spellbinders, so now I'm an affiliate of both of them and I can sell both products. So the catalogs that we've had with Fun Stampers are still totally good, which is of course the Holiday Journey one and the big one, the Inspiration Catalog 2018-2019. This is good until the end of June. The other one now that we can use also is the Spellbinders, and this happens to be Spellbinders 2018. Now, seeing that I've just gotten started doing this, I will be doing things out of the Spellbinders catalog, but I haven't started yet because of course I've got to make the adjustment. So today everything that I'm going to use will be from Fun Stamper's Journey. This is the die, one of them, the snowflake die that we're going to use. It's called Snow Blooms. This one is the Journey Square one, and we're going to use the square from it. The cardstock that we're using today is Denim Days. We're going to use the Journey Vellum paper. We're going to use the mirrored silver cardstock. And we're going to use Pool Play cardstock. Now, along with those, other things that we're going to be using today will be, of course, our paper trimmer and our scoreboard. Now, I've already cut everything, so I want to start with the scoreboard today. We're making a luminary. And so what I've done is I've cut a piece of blue denim, and it measures 10 1/4 by 4 1/4. And I'm putting the 4 1/4 side at the top on my scoreboard. I'm taking my tool, going to my 3, and I'm scoring all the way down. That's the bottom now. This little piece right here, which measures out to be 1 1/4 inches, it's going to be the bottom of my luminary. Then I'm turning my cardstock to the top, and I'm going to do the top one at 2.5. I gotta watch my notes. 5, 7.5, and 10. Right, and then along those score lines, I'm going to fold. Now you want to make sure that you get this fold in really, really well, and you'll see why in a minute. But you're going to do all your folds that way, of the short folds going down. Your long fold you're not going to do yet. So once you have that completed, and I've already done that on one of our samples, it's going to look like this. Now you're going to take the square, and I fold over my first section here, making sure that my crease is good. I use washi tape, and then I can die cut through 2 pieces of our cardstock. Now I've already done that on some of these, so I'm going to show you. What I did is, like I showed you there, I turned it over, I die cut it. Now that means that I've got 2 of my squares already cut out. So then what I do is I fold it, I take my die, and I can put it in, and it will fit perfectly. And you can feel it go in. And then I die cut that one. Then because I already have a hole cut here, I do the same thing, so that I'm cutting through 2 pieces of cardstock every time. If you're not sure that you've got it where you want it, the other thing that you can do is put it in. You can actually feel it go in, but then you can turn it over and you can see the edge. You can see the actual cut line of your die on the inside. So then you're sure that you have it. Now I always washi tape them down. I don't take any chances that they're going to move because I know right where I want them. So that when I'm done with my die, I now have my 4, what I'm calling holes, my 4 squares. So then what you're going to do is take your piece on the inside, and at the bottom and top, as you can see here, because I've already done this one, I put our tape. And then what I'm going to do is peel my tape off and take some of our Journey craft glue, and I put some dots of Journey craft glue where my tape is. Now you're saying, why in the world do you do that? Well, because my tape will hold it for sure, but I want to make sure that I have a good seal. And so I put my craft glue on. Then on both other sides, I just simply run my craft glue down those sides. Then I'm going to take my vellum and I'm going to lay my vellum, which is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, at the top on my tape. And then I'm simply running my finger down from the inside out and getting it glued in. Then once I have that glued in, all right, now I can go ahead and finish doing the rest of what I need to do. So what I'm doing is taking my detailed scissors. Now you can also use the Grand Pro scissors or scissors that you have, but I'm cutting up on all 4 of my fold lines up to my long score line that I made. Then what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to take and trim off, I think I'll trim off just a little bit of this one back here at an angle, so that I know that it's going to go well when I want it to. Now I've already put, as you can see, my tape here. And so now what I'm going to do is peel that off. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put a couple dots of glue on this piece. Then I'm folding it over, as you can see. Fold this other side over. Line them up, top to bottom, and press it down. So now I have my square. Now the other thing that for this you're going to need are going to be 2 pieces of the navy, the Denim Days blue, for inside and outside. Now how I do this to put it all together, I make sure that I know where my 2 pieces have met, which happens to be right here. So that one is going to be my back, and this will be my front. So my 2 side pieces I'm going to put in first, and then my 2 top pieces will go in. Now what I'm going to do is not put glue on those, but I am going to put glue on both of my other sides that are going to go in. And because our glue will give you a couple seconds, I'm also going to do the bottom piece. I'm going to glue it in. So, put in my other 2, making sure that I have it squared up. Then this piece is going to cover up my bottom, so that I have a nice finish. Turn it over. I just put my glue bottle in it. And then glue this one, because this is the piece that will now go inside. And again, I just use my glue bottle to press it down. So there is our little box, which is going to be, of course, our luminary. That part's now finished. So now what I'm going to do is put on my snowflakes. Now, you can do these any way you want, but what I've done is I've cut out 2 in my light blue, and I've cut out 4 in my mirrored gold. And again, what I'm going to use will be our glue. So on the 2 light blue ones, I'm simply going to put my glue. And then I want one of these on the front. So again, I've got to check to make sure I know. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to do this one right here. And then I'm going to do a silver. And of course you can do these in any colors that you want. And then I'm going to just offset the silver onto the blue. And there that one is. So you can do that all the way around. I'm going to show you the finished one in a minute because I've already glued them all around. Because I like to make sure that it's going to hold, so I usually hold it for a little bit. Then I turn it over to my bottom because I want it to stand up off my table. Now this is not something that Fun Stampers or Spellbinders has, but I found these at Michael's, and they're the little wooden beads. And so I'm going to use 4 of these for the little feet on the bottom. Now one of the things that I did find or figure out on this is that when you do this, you're going to want to set them down to start with and make sure that they're the same size, because sometimes their height varies a little. Now these are all exact, so I'm okay there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and put a big glob of glue in 4 places, getting it as even as I can on the bottom as far as distance from my sides. And then I'm simply taking a bead and putting it where my glue is. So now I have all 4 of my beads on. So I'll turn it back over and press down from the inside a little, just to make sure I've got them on well. Now to finish this, because I didn't like down here, to me, it looks like a raw edge, and I don't like that. So what I did is I took a piece of our Denim Day sparkle ribbon, and I'm going to put a strip of tape close to the top of my ribbon. And I'm putting it at the top because this will adhere to my cardstock there. And the very bottom of my ribbon is just going to be sort of loose as it hangs down. So put on my tape, trim my edge. Now I'm using my fingernail, but of course you could, if you wanted to, you could use our bloom tool as well to help get the backing off. Now what I do is I'm just going to run a thin little line of glue down here at the very bottom. Whoops, one of my beads fell off. Normally I let my beads completely dry before I do this part. And I am going to run my glue all the way down and all the way around. Well, that bead does not want to stay on for some reason. So now I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to start in the front, in the back, and adhere my ribbon. Now yes, I do leave a little bit of my ribbon off, because then it's going, I know it's going to cover up the bottom of my luminary the way I want it. And then I'm overlapping my ribbon, making sure I have my ribbon where I want it to be. And then I'm simply going to cut off my little tail. Now, very honestly, what I do when I do this sort of thing, I let every stage of my glue dry completely. But for the video, of course, I wanted to show you the whole thing, so I couldn't do that. But now there it is. There's my front. All I need to do now is to add my little light on the inside, which is a little tea light. And this is the one that I had completed earlier. So you can see I have my snowflakes on all four sides. My little feet are on the bottom, my ribbon is around it, and that's the front of it. So when you have it all finished, that's what it's going to look like. They're easy to make, they don't take hardly any time, and once you make one, you're going to enjoy making more. You can make them any size you want. You just have to adjust, of course, the size of your die here and the size of your cardstock. If you have any questions, you can reach me at my website, which is www.janies, JANIES-angelhugs.com. See you soon. Have a great and blessed day.